Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I am Agnelina and today I'm here with my 6th knitting podcast episode. I'm Lithuanian, currently living in Norway. I live together with my fiancé and we have 2 chinchillas. And let's talk about knitting. As always, I will try to put everything in chapters, so if you get bored about me talking in some random topic, you can try to jump in. I will link down below my Instagram and Ravelry pages. You can find more pictures or information about my projects, the yarn I'm using, how much yarn I use. I bought the scale, so it's for me really interesting to take a scientific look into the knitting and actually record these things, how much yarn I use, so in the future for similar projects I would be better off guessing how much yarn I will need. Or remind myself what needle size I used for which knitting. So yeah, that is said, and let's start with my first started and finished garment this year, which is my first Islandic colorwork sweater. It is Ístex 20 years anniversary Afmæli sweater by Védís Jónsdóttir. I don't remember his name to say the truth. As I said, all the details down below. So yeah, I finished the sweater quite recently, I think last week. I blocked it and I'm really happy with it. It is a little bit, of course, bigger than maybe my style was. But I really enjoying the sweater. I'm really loving it, and this is what knitting should be about. Of course, this yarn is recommended, Léttlopi yarn. I bought most of it in Iceland when I was visiting before knowing what I want to knit. So when I came back and I found out the design I want to knit, I ran out of contrasting colors, so I needed to buy a little bit more yarn, but so it would be finished. But this sweater is as Icelandic as it gets. I have really good memories and I'm really happy about this sweater. I think it has really beautiful design. A few modifications I did. I included a little bit body shaping, but since I didn't calculate it how much baggier the armpit area will be, because it is bottom up, it is a little bit too low for my liking, and I also knitted a little bit longer because I was too afraid that it will be too short, because I really wanted measuring everything almost to the armpit, but of course sleeve length is not this. It's more relaxed, so even if I want I can know my hands. So it's really cozy. I feel like wearing a blanket. But this yarn is a little bit scratchy. It is really rustic. It's really 100% wool. I really like the color variation in this main color. I used it, it is straw. Then the second contrasting color, Barley, and the dark brown is chocolate color. And I really like how much variation in the color is like hand-dyed, or a little bit, for me, imagination how hand-dyed could look like, because it's not just a plain color. It has a little bit more interest to it. It's a little bit fluffy, if you can see. Maybe I'm coming too close. But yeah, it is a little bit scratchy. And was a little bit maybe cheaper yarn, and when I was buying I didn't know a lot about it, but I decided, oh well, if I will knit a sweater I can wear, you know, long sleeve, turtleneck for example, to avoid scratchiness. And this is one of my, I know, maybe my 5th sweater. I did it when I was buying yarn. I didn't want to spend too much money on the sweater I may fail to knit. So yeah. So it was a little bit maybe cheaper yarn, but it's really sturdy. It feels like it won't peel as easy because it's so, I don't know, it feels long lasting. And the scratchiness, I heard from another knitting YouTuber that this yarn is her favorite, and by the time it gets less scratchy because it gets oils from the skin, and this is 100% sheep wool. So of course, you know, oils around the yarn, it's natural for it, and it softens it up. And I felt today when I put it on, it was my 4th time of wearing it, and I wore it for 3 full days, I think. And Thursday I felt a little bit tired of the scratchiness, but today when I put it on, first I remembered that it should be scratchy, then I felt it, And now of course I'm wearing tank tops all these days. I can feel a little bit around the arms, a little bit around the chest area, because tank top doesn't hide that much skin, but I can wear it, and I believe that it will become softer and it will be really nice and cozy, and as I said, as a nice blanket. Yes, modifications, a little bit body shaping, and I've done a little bit raglan shaping to lift up back. So I done before, after joining everything in the round, and before starting color work, so I wouldn't do any changes in color work sections. And then I knitted size L, and I had to go down needle size because my gauge was too loose, and it still was a little bit looser, so I think it just got a little bit bigger, but in the same way I think it fits me, it suits me. And yeah, one of my last sweaters of the last year was a little bit too small, so I'm really happy, yeah, about this fit, and it's way better than yeah. But bottom up sweaters are not the easiest to try it on, especially when you don't know how deep the yoke will be and how much arm space around the armpit you will get. Measuring up to to your armpit doesn't give the true length of the sleeve, but I think maybe it gives when you raise up your hands. But yeah, I think that I reached really good lengths. I think I also added a centimeter at least for the sleeves, because I was really scared that it will be too small, but I think it turned out great. And as I said, all this rusty scratchiness, I hope that it will be softer by the time I can report it to you guys in the in the yearly review, because I have a year almost wear it. But first, I know observations are that it will be really warm and lovely sweater. We still have snow in Norway, and it's still cold enough for me to wear the sweater. So I don't need to quickly jump into summer knits, but of course it would be nice. And other finished projects were from my leftover yarn projects. I got left with this yarn, which is Woolevo Baby Merino, 75% merino wool, 25% polyester. This yarn is, I'm knitting with 3mm needles. This is my smallest needle size I own, and after knitting a top, I bought this yarn for. I bought recommended amount, and I knitted with small modifications, but it shouldn't change yardage that much. I was left with 2 and more than a half balls, so it was 2 full balls, and the third one was maybe 3/5. Yeah, maybe too mathematically, but a little bit more than 2.5 balls left of this yarn. So I started my leftover yarn projects, and I got sick of this color, and I'm thinking that I'm a little bit maybe too into, when I was buying yarn I was buying maybe too much neutrals, and but yeah, I think all my knits will be well loved, and I think they will be will fill wardrobe holes, but knitting with this color I got really tired of it, because it's all those small projects. Okay, so first I will talk what's on my needle. This I started idea is taken from Petite Knits Sophie scarf or shawl. I really liked the design, garter stitch, I-cord edging, increasing. I think I reached all the width I want, so I will just continue straight until I will start decreasing again. So it will be really lovely scarf. I really like the idea that you have small ends to to tie a knot, and then you have more fabric around your neck to keep you warm. So I think that will be really lovely addition. Then I think I showed you last time that I finished this Frida headband by Emily Louise, I think. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, it is my idea was, you know, to make a small complex of late or early spring, late spring, maybe in Norway it's late spring, early autumn, then before, you know, huge scarves and warm hats, to have something, you know, in this mid-season when it's not summer anymore, when you need something warm but something not too bulky. So I knitted this headband, I am starting this scarf, and I finished these fingerless gloves. This design is also taken from Petite's knit penny gloves. I saw so many of Penrose Knits, Laura from Penrose Knits knitting these in the Christmas time, so she got me hooked for it, and I really wanted to make a complex with really, you know, simple headband stitch, simple fingerless mitten stitch, and then, you know, simple scarf. And since this was garter stitch scarf, I decided to add, you know, garter edging. Next time, if I would knit this one, I'm a little bit regretting that I didn't do 1x1 ribbing, maybe for 3 rows, because I think that would also be quite minimalistic, and it would have I'm sorry, less tendencies to roll down. Now I'm recently blocked them up, so they are not rolling down. But I think with doing like this, it will start rolling down. I'm sorry, I will drink a little bit of water maybe. I need to get my voice back. Yes, I think it's on. So I think this will be a really lovely set. I'm not sure if I will be keeping or it will be my gift to one of my friends, because as I said, I'm a little bit tired of this color. It's really soft yarn, so it's nice to the touch. It's nice for the head. It's nice for the head. It's not scratchy. I cannot wear scratchy hats. I think once my aunt knitted me a hat with merino wool, and I was not able to wear it because it's way too scratchy. Now the only hat I own is from synthetic yarns, because my head cannot hold scratchy yarns. As this sweater is, you know, totally fine. I can I can wait for it to become softer. I can ignore the scratchiness, but on my head, no, I cannot do it. It irritates me too much, and in 3 minutes I have to take the hat off. So yeah, this yarn is really lovely, so I think it would be could be a nice gift if I decided to gift it. Not just because this color is not, I'm getting sick of this color, as I said, since I was, you know, finishing second item. And then I found a scarf which I was not wearing, and it is sky blue, and I found that I have a little bit bought alpaca yarns for when I just started knitting, and I was thinking about WIP knit, so I just bought one ball and then bought the second ball in the same color. So I'm thinking maybe I should do some small knitting from that yarn, because that color just excites my inner side so much, and I just love that color so much, so I don't want to give that away. But this color, I think, is really nice. It's practical, it's warm, it's browns can be also beautiful, but I got tired of it. And the last thing I also knitted from this leftover yarn for now is a small baby hat. This was the Morrie bonnet, I think. It's the free pattern for newborns on Barley. I knitted a little bit bigger, just because I'm way too scared. It was written that it should be good for the babies up to 3.3 kilograms size, so, you know, just for really new newborns. And me and my brother, we were born on 3.5 maybe kilograms. So I was really afraid if I would have a chunky baby. I'm not pregnant, I have to mention, but I want to have kids in the future. So I was thinking if my kid in the future would be born a little bit heavier, or if I want to give it to my friends and I would be late to give it before birth, just 1 month after, that would not fit any baby, or if my gauge would be really wrong. So I knitted a little bit bigger size, and it could be, I don't know if my gauge was on point or not. But this pattern is also, you have a paid version where you have way more sizes. but just for using up leftover yarns, as nobody is pregnant yet and nobody is actually gonna wear this hat in the upcoming year, most likely. Yeah, pregnancy lasts 9 months, so maybe, and friends can inform you after, I know, 3 months of pregnancy. So in the next half of the year, nobody is planning to wear this hat, as far as I know. Yeah, that would be really nice surprise if my friends would do it. I mean, I could knit for their babies. But yeah, and I still have this much of this ball left. I think it's 35 grams still, and this was just started with this ball, so just maybe 15 grams used, 35 grams left. It is 175 meters around, and I have still maybe 10 grams left over, so maybe I will do small socks with this hat, so the, you know, like small baby, how to say it, baby set, yes. And this is my my adult set, autumn set. I think this color in autumn will be really beautiful. But moving forward with my active work in progress, it is my boyfriend sweater. So I almost finished the body. I'm knitting with Jobs Big Merinos. It is superwash wool. I most likely I noticed it, and I thought that it is okay, since it is for a boyfriend, it could be easier for him to wash it. But I really hate that the gauge swatch is not, you know, the swatch change sizes when you were washing it. So this sweater will grow a little bit. He is quite slim, so I'm knitting the smallest size for him, size S. And I'm knitting, I'm sorry that I didn't mention what I'm knitting yet, but I'm knitting Aberdeen's sweater by Drops Design. This is a simple raglan sweater with interesting neck design. I showed a few sweaters to my boyfriend and he chose this one as the one he wants to knit. It was so funny because I showed him maybe a few cable options and he said that it looks like fisherman sweater, and just exactly this is how the sweater is called, but he didn't want that design and he wasn't that interested in color work, at least for now. So he chose this simple stock knit stitch sweater. I was asking him what color he wants. He said that in the picture it is good. The sweater should be knitted in Drops Air yarn, but around the time when I was listening to other knitting podcasters, I heard that Drops Air, did I say Drops Air yarn? It should be knitted in Drops Air yarn, but I heard around the time from few knitting podcasters that Drops Air is really getting bubbly quite quickly, and it is not as long lasting, so I decided to substitute with another Drops yarn, Big Merino, same yarn group, so I think it is a recommended yarn for that sweater. I had to go down a needle size. I'm knitting with 4.5 millimeters. When I saw that this sweater should be knitted with 6mm needles, I don't own 6mm needles, I was a little bit panicking. But I decided, okay, different yarn, maybe different needle size will help me get the gauge. And then I knitted 3 gauge swatches with 5, 4, and 4.5, and 4mm needles. And 4.5 was the best match for the gauge, so I'm knitting you with that, and it will grow a little bit. I am measuring my row counts here where it should be 10 centimeters. Of course, now I'm just measuring 9 centimeters. And this gives me a headache because I'm so afraid that it won't fit ill on my boyfriend, because I cannot now even try it on him because it has to be too small, so because it will grow, but how much too small? Will it be too small after blocking 2? Will it grow to way too much? Did I make a mistake when I was knitting swatches? Do I change my gauge while knitting, you know, small swatch and a huge piece? So yeah, this superwash yarn is giving me anxiety a little bit. This grey color is a little bit boring. but I know that he will wear, today he left the house with all grey, he has grey pants and grey jumpsuit, so I totally know that he will be wearing this and he will be loving it, even if he has to act that he loves it. But yeah, as I'm knitting him a sweater. And yes, I know about the boyfriend sweater curse, but we are together now for 5 years and I feel like we are married. I never believed when people say that, you know, it feels like we are married, but at some point it starts doing so. We are planning our wedding, but there is a little bit more, I don't know, controversy, money, family problems to talk about. So sometimes it's just yeah, living together is also good enough for me at this point. If you want, I can try to do a little bit of knit and chat. Another thing I wanted to mention, why I knitted, I think, this one in a week, because now I'm really hooked on watching Netflix Korean, mostly detective TV shows, and I'm thinking maybe after watching a little bit few more, I should try to do a knit and chat and talk about, you know, what I watched on Netflix, you know, do I like it or not, and maybe that would give you some recommendations. But yeah, these are small ideas. Now I am fighting my urge going and continuing watching Netflix and not edit videos, so I'm sorry for it. For inspiration will hit me. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you next time. Bye!